we start speaking differently of Nigeria? Can we start seeing Nigeria as a blessed nation? Can we start seeing the possibility that can exist because we believe that this nation will be good to us? You know, when I was coming to Africa, people say, what is wrong with you? Everybody's jackpine and you are jackpada.
Of course.
I said, look. That's when I learned the phrase. I didn't know.
Jackpada.
He said, everybody's jackpine and you're jackpada. I said, what do you see? Things happen to us. But one of the things that critically was a huge turning point in my life was when a couple of years ago, when I decided to file for divorce from my ex-husband. That was a decision that I had to make for many reasons. But one of the biggest reasons was for me to know, it says one can chase 1,000, but two will chase 10,000.
One can chase 1,000, but two will chase 10,000.
So what I'm doing right now, I can do exactly, always. So women, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go there. Look, all this independent woman nonsense is not godly. That's not what God created us to be. God did not create anyone to be alone. He created us for community, togetherness. But we have to be mindful that we're coming together for the right reasons, for the right purpose, with the right person. There is a right person for everyone. So that's just my own ideal. Yeah, I want to get married, but it has to be right. It's for purpose. That purpose has to be godly. In fact, I know we said we're going to a school, but we have a surprise. We're actually setting up our very first site in Ibadan.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And we have already acquired the property.
Wonderful.
We'll commission it next week.
Wow. Wonderful.
Yes, because we want to have training sites.
Good, yeah.
Yes. So we've it's like so you can sorry, excuse my Yoruba, even though I'm the national youth leader for Egbeomo Yoruba in North America. Yes. Yeah, I serve my community in different levels. But yeah, we've carried the burden. We've taken it. We've taken full ownership, like with our full chest. We've put everything, we're fully invested. So that site is going to be built out as a training center in Ibadan. So another thing is they gave us a strong identity.
That's good.
A lot of parents need to do that. They gave us a strong identity in who we are. Like, I am a Jinadu. I am proud of it. I cannot be anything less than an extraordinary human being. That name alone is like, I'm a Jinadu.
Inspiration.
Yeah.
Inspires you.
I'm my father's daughter. I cannot let him down. I cannot disappoint him.
That's good.
And I cannot disappoint God. We need to begin to understand the order of things as youth. Going back to the right order of things is important. You cannot drive a Bentley at 20-something because you see someone else doing it. There is an order. There is a time for acquisition of wealth. Things grow over time. If you want to microwave it and get it out, then you have to go and be doing Yahoo, money laundering, money ritual, all these things. That's the wrong order of things. It never ends well. And it's not going to bode for a better Nigeria.
Yep.
So while we say those people are there, let's leave them. How about we focus on building ourselves up first?
Yes.
Let's focus on becoming better, becoming good, becoming great, good to great, becoming excellent. Let's focus our focus on becoming more before we start making demands. It's not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. Let's stop and assume that this Nigeria is going to be better and we just want to kick people out of office and take their place. So when you get there, what is going to be your function? You go and loot the treasury now because you have nothing to offer. The reason our politicians are looting is because they don't have the expertise to create solutions. So the only thing they can go there to do is steal.
Grab and keep.
And that is it. Ọlọ́run dá wa dáradára. Ṣùgbọ́n ìgbà tá wá sínú ayé, Sátánì ba ohun gbogbo jẹ́. Ṣùgbọ́n lára iṣẹ́ tí Ọlọ́run dá sílẹ̀ ní Honey Drops Foundation láti yí àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ padà, láti yí ọkàn àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ padà sí ọ̀dọ̀ wọn, láti lè rí wípé wọ́n ṣe rere nínú ayé. Gbogbo iṣẹ́ rere tí Ọlọ́run fi sí ẹnì kọ̀ọ̀kan nínú wa lọ́wọ́ láti ṣe nínú ayé. Láìsí pé a padà sọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run kò sí bá ṣe lè ṣe àwọn iṣẹ́ rere náà. Nítorí náà ni àwa ṣe máa ń dá àwọn ọmọ àwọn ọ̀dọ́ wa, a máa dá wọn lẹ́kọ̀ọ́, a máa kọ́ wọn ní ẹ̀kọ́, a máa fún wọn ní àwọn nǹkan tí wọ́n nílò, oúnjẹ, àwọn nǹkan tó need fún ilé ẹ̀kọ́ tí wọ́n ń lọ, a máa fún wọn ní àwọn nǹkan díẹ̀díẹ̀ láti fi wú wọn lórí, láti fi mọ̀ wípé ilé ayé yìí fún wọn ni láti ṣe rere, kò ń ṣe láti gbèrò nínú iṣẹ́ búburú, ṣùgbọ́n láti gbèrò nínú iṣẹ́ rere tí Ọlọ́run dá ẹnì kọ̀ọ̀kan nù wá fún.
Teen domestic violence is a problem that significantly affects young people in modern-day society, making them one of the vulnerable parts of a larger society. This emphasizes the role played by child protection service enthusiasts and law enforcement agencies in safeguarding such vulnerable children for a greater adult life. In Nigeria, teen domestic violence is alarmingly prevalent, as several media reports in local newspapers indicate high rates of abuse within households across the country. It is the same problem in the larger African society. However, due to factors like underreporting, social stigma, and cultural influences, the true magnitude of the issue might be underestimated. Teen domestic violence can be influenced by a range of factors such as poverty, family disharmony, stress from pressure to conform to peer group, and violence, especially sexual violence and bullying. They are major problems facing modern adolescent community. Other factors responsible for this lifetime societal problem are mental health challenge, poor parental care, emotional injury, and substance abuse. Beyond that, family, education, mood swings, bodily features, personal health challenges, adjustment to social environments, and moral principles are some more factors to deal with in developing a credible adolescent society in Africa. These factors contribute to power imbalances within the teen dating community and equally increases the likelihood of violence among young people. Teen domestic violence encompasses different types of mistreatments, which includes acts such as hitting or using objects to harm the victim. Sexual abuse, on the other hand, involves forcing or coercing victims into abusive sexual acts, while emotional abuse includes insults, humiliation, threats, and controlling tendencies. The final one is economic abuse, which entails controlling victims' finances by restricting their access to resources or withholding financial support. In trying to solve the aforementioned challenges, a keen-hearted caregiver must solve the problem of peer pressure, family dynamics, academic challenges, and identity development. What could be the dangers of teen dating in a third world country like Nigeria? The list is endless but could be limited to 4 items. Number 1 is distraction from academic priorities, because such a relationship can be time-consuming and may equally distort a student's ability to focus on schoolwork and extracurricular activities. 2. Increased emotional complexity, which is a potential for heartbreak. 3. Missed opportunity for self-discovery. And lastly, socio-political complications. This is where Honeydrop Foundation is taking the lead. The organization, which started as a non-governmental organization (NGO) some 9 years ago in faraway United States of America, is making an inroad into the African sphere of influence. Visiting several schools to spread the gospel of self-discovery for thousands of teenagers across Africa, Honeydrop Foundation is fast becoming a grand mentor to several young people in a continent belabored with poor education and remuneration standard. Situated in Dallas, Texas, and established in year 2015, Honey Drops Foundation is an organization dedicated to breaking the cycle of youth domestic violence and fostering a safer, more compassionate youth community in Africa. With several teen dating violence training, teen conferences, Men Against Abuse awareness programs, youth awareness and empowerment summits, community advocate partnership events, school enrichment education seminars, and school community advocate partnership program, Honey Drop Foundation is making a bold statement that will be better understood with time. Honey Drop Foundation is guided by the core belief that every life has a value. Through the education of the youth and the creation of relevant and efficient programs, Africa can begin to experience a shift towards a new mindset that will become part of the solution to ending violence in the entire universe. Dr. OYINKANSOLA JINADU, a multi-potentialite entrepreneur and life coach, is the driving power behind Honey Drop Foundation. And because she understands the power of transformative education in the lives of young people who are in the large bracket of the Citizen Index, she is on the verge of setting in motion one of the most sophisticated mentoring movements in Africa. Dr. OJ has fondly addressed cares deeply about the fate of education sector in Africa, and that's the main reason for Honey Drop Foundation Africa, HDFA, the African arm of Honey Drop Foundation. Dr. OYINKANSOLA JINADU, also known as Dr. OJ, is a philanthropist, public speaker, educator, author, entrepreneur, and mother of 3 boys. She obtained a Bachelor of Science degree in microbiology from the University of Lagos, Nigeria, and later got her Master's of Science degree in psychology from the University of Phoenix, Arizona. She recently completed her doctorate degree of philosophy in humanities from the United Graduate College and Seminary International. She is a woman of many parts and author of several books and solution-based documents. She is a visionary and creator of initiatives and events that benefits the global community and equally provides solutions to domestic violence and other forms of relational violence. Dr. OJ has spoken on several stages locally and internationally, including the famous Women in Management Business and Public Service WIMBIZ, promoting the Honey Drop Foundation, a 501c3NZ non-profit organization. She has created several models for non-violence activities. She is the creative visionary of the Beyond Domestic Violence model, a multi-dimensional training course and event-based model and curriculum that is geared towards taking a global community beyond domestic violence. Dr. OYINKANSOLA is the host of an online talk show and weekly podcast, Dr. OJ Speaks, and 60 Seconds with Dr. OJ. The platforms offer faith-based conversations on real-life stories, experiences, tools, strategies, and education to help solve problems of humans by our own stories, in our own voice, and by our own solutions. Her motto for Honey Drop Foundation Africa is to elevate, educate, and empower. She was recently in Nigeria to lay the foundation for a boot camp in Ibadan, Oyo State, where young people will be inculcated into several motivational activities to break the cycle of domestic violence from ground up. Her visit to the 60-year-old Ibadan School for the Deaf at Ijokodo area, where she gave food and cash donations and equally shared her dream with the management, was the hallmark. She equally visited the Omoyeni Home for the Blind, the Adeshola area of Orita Akperin, Ibadan, Oyo State, where she equally donated in kind and cash among other places. Honey Drop Foundation Africa promises more for Nigeria and Africa as a whole, especially for the development of our youth in days to come. Find details in this report by Asabe Africa TV. joy.
Every time people see our messages, I believe strongly that we're saving at least one life. Every time we go into the schools and we offer these programs and we educate these kids, I believe that we're making a change and we're planting a seed in the heart of one child, even if it's one, and we're helping.
Before I ask the next question, well, everybody watching, the Get in Touch contact is honeydropsfoundation.org. That is info@honeydropfoundation.org. And the office location is in Dallas, Texas, but there's a Nigerian contact. You can also reach the organization on the telephone number streaming on the video right now. You can get them through both the American contacts and the Nigerian contacts and every other available information channels you are seeing there, scrolling on the screen, and you will want to have a chat with them. Maybe you're having a challenge, or maybe you want to partner. You are an organization, you feel that the dream tallies with yours, or you feel that you have something to offer. Yes, definitely, this is the right place. The Honey Drop Foundation Africa, then Honey Drop Foundation Global. I want to ask you that.
Yes, sir.
What is your most challenging moment in life? Because for you to have taken up this task, you must have seen it all in terms of life challenges. And I saw it in your resume. You love to become mother of 3 boys. So, I mean, it's not easy to be mother of 3, agile boys. But what is the most challenging moment in life? Your turnaround moment, the moment you look back now and say, oh, how did I survive? I mean, that you want to talk about so that you can influence others and you can also, put strength into people.
Oh my God, challenges come and go, man. It's part of life.
Part of life.
It is. And, one thing is, before I talk about my challenges, I always tell people, I say, look, I'm not special. So a lot of times when we talk about our challenges, we like to talk about it in such a very personal way that we look like, my challenge, my problem, my issue. No, it's not my own. Things happen to us. But one of the things that critically was a huge turning point in my life was when a couple of years ago, when I decided to file for divorce from my ex-husband. That was a decision that I had to make for many reasons. But one of the biggest reasons was for me to know that I needed to fulfill my purpose in life. And being in that marriage would have stopped me from doing that. Now, for me, it wasn't a case of, how do I put it?
Was it a domestic
Exactly,
violence?
yeah, I need to clarify that.
Yep.
It wasn't a case of me being abused. I didn't have all the chat. I mean, it was several different issues that we can't even unpack on this thing. But one of them is, just understanding that, a lot of us get into marriages. When we say we're growing up and they say, the prophet said this and this and this.
Yeah.
Yeah, my marriage was as a result of one of those things.
I understand now.
And then I was like, oh my God. And then almost 10 years into the marriage and you're like, nah, this is not what God really has for me. I did not take account. I was not responsible for making the choices that I needed to have made. And if I continue on this path, it's not going to allow me to fulfill God's purpose for my life. So I needed to make a change. So I guess first things first, if you've ever made a decision based on another person's opinion,
okay, ma'am,
other than what God would truly tell you to do, you need to be able to go to God for verification.
For verification?
And if you have made a decision out of that verifying from God, there's always a time to turn around and let Him lead you in the right direction. Because a lot of people will say, oh, I'm here now. Mosibi.
Yeah.
These children, I have to stay because of them. Maybe it's your dead body that will leave the marriage.
It's happening now in Africa.
Yes,
in
your
Nigeria,
dead body
a lot
will
of
leave the
challenges.
marriage, and then the children will still be okay. But the thing is, the children will already be damaged badly because of the choices you're making. So if you've made a choice based on something that you know is not God, because there's so many marriages that are not God's will. Let's just be clear on that. And pastors will tell you, God is against divorce. God is against divorce. But did God institute those marriages? Because would God be against something that he didn't put in place in the first place? So we need to clarify that. Let's stop being religious. Let's really start going to God. God is very, very intentional about every single soul on this earth. So if a person is in a marriage that you know God is not in support of, mine was, like I said, not about abuse, but if you're in a situation where you know that that is not where God put you, you've made a mistake, you can get out and fix it.
You can reverse.
And God will restore.
You can reverse and repack the car.
Yes. And God will restore. Let's not use religion to keep people bondage in lives that God did not set them up in the first place. I'm not saying God is in support of divorce, but I also know that God did not institute a lot of the marriages that we're perpetuating now. So, okay. So what's the answer? So that being said, so I continued, and at that point, it was a very low point because I literally had to start over. I mean, I'd already been in the U.S. for over 13 years at that point, and getting out of that marriage meant I had to start from ground zero.
All over again.
So everything that is known today, Dr. OJ, everything that is literally by the grace of God,
Dr. OJ.
is just God's restoration.
At the end of the day.
God's restoration, really, it was bad, but it was God's restoration. And that's why, for me, I cannot leave God out of anything that I do say and think.
I appreciate the God factor. That's what I appreciate mostly, especially in the, what can I call it? In the DNA of HFA, that is Honey Drop Foundation Africa. The God factor is very important. But what are you going to say to, if you find yourself in a room, you have the microphone, you have 1,000 broken women, I mean, housewives, girlfriends, I mean, daughters, they've been broken by their parents, by their husband, by their spouses. And you are the chief speaker, you have the microphone. What are you going to say to them? In a ballroom?
Yeah. You know, brokenness is a reality we all deal with just by being born. Because we live in a broken world.
Broken world itself?
Yeah, the world is broken. And whoever broke a person cannot be the one to fix them.
That's interesting.
Yes, the person that broke you, whether it's a parent, a spouse, a situation, cannot be the one to fix you. We live in a broken world. And the only person with the capacity to restore to wholeness is the one that lives outside of this world system. And his name is Jesus.
That's powerful. That's a powerful one.
He's the only one that lives outside of this broken system. Think about it, sir.
Yes,
the devil lives in this broken world.
I know.
He's here.
It's a reality.
And that's the reason the world is broken.
A dangerous reality.
Yeah. So all of our brokenness comes from different things, but one source. All of our brokenness comes from parents, teachers, uncles, politicians, friends, anywhere it came from. But the source is one source. It's the devil. And the only way to restore us back to wholeness is to find peace in the one that has peace to give. He's the Prince of Peace.
Jesus Christ, our Lord.
He is. And that is the simple solution, is to just return to him.
I want to ask you a very funny question. Is there any plan for a second attempt in marriage? You're beautiful, full of ideas, highly octane. There's so much in your head going on, and I've read your resume, and anytime I just look at you, I myself feel intimidated.
My resume, Lord. Oh, Lord, this resume, wahala.
Is there a room for...
We have to delete this resume online, no. No, there is.
Because you know what I'm afraid for?
Why?
You know, a lot of men will read that and say, she's beautiful, Dr. OJ, yes.
Yeah.
It's a motivating personality and all that. But a man might want to say, okay, let me see something, and his heart will just be shaking and say, can I go into her? Won't I be intimidated? Will I be insulted and all that? But what do you look out for in the man that is going to take you and say, this is my lover?
If his heart is shaking, then it's not for me, because his heart has to be very strong. You know, the thing about it is, one thing is, I know that I'm a very, God has built me up to be very strong.
Yeah, a strong woman.
God has built me up because I have needed to be. At least
you needed to give leadership to 3 boys, 3 men, 3 young men.
To whom much is given, much is required.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, a man and everything coming into my space, the standards are very, very high, but they are not unattainable.
They are not unattainable.
Yes.
I think that is a very
the standards are very high, but they are not unattainable. So to the right one who is discerning in spirit, mind, body, and soul, he'll know how to get there. Yeah. But of course, I definitely want to get married again.
That's interesting. That's very good news.
I definitely want to get married again, but in God's good timing, no rush.
In God's good time.
To get it done, Because see, in this season, sir, I'm looking for a purpose partner. And a man who's looking for a purpose, because it's a partnership, it's a marriage, but it's for a purpose. And it's for God's purpose. Because imagine all the work that I do.
Yeah, so huge.
I can't get into a marriage that will thwart or limit or minimize it. It's a purpose partner who's ready to run, because God needs soldiers in the field.
I know.
You're always on the road. I'm sure your wife understands the mission.
Of course.
That is why, exactly. So for people like us who do this work, we need purpose partners who will either run with us or will ensure that we have everything we need to run hard.
I understand.
He says 1 can chase 1,000, but 2 will chase 10,000.
1 can chase 1,000, but 2 will chase 10,000.
So what I'm doing right now, I can do exactly, always. So women, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go there. Look, all this independent woman nonsense is not godly. That's not what God created us to be. God did not create anyone to be alone. He created us for community, togetherness. But we have to be mindful that we're coming together for the right reasons, for the right purpose, with the right person. There is a right person for everyone. So that's just my own ideal. Yeah, I want to get married, but it has to be right. It's for purpose. That purpose has to be godly.
I mean, what's the philosophy of life?
Philosophy of life. If you believe, anything is possible.
If you believe, anything is possible.
Anything is a possibility.
I think you're taking it from Hebrew. Is it Hebrew 6, 11, or Hebrew 11, 6? I think Hebrew 11, 6, from the purpose of faith.
Everything is possible, because imagine this was an idea and it became this big thing, and it's like now global, it's international. It started out as Honey Drops, now it's Honey Drops Foundation Africa, because you see, we put Africa with it. See, Africa taken out of that, so that we put it there. He wasn't there before. It was from just a belief system that we can come in here and we can make an impact. And regardless of the situation, regardless of all of the limitations, we still can come in. And we did. And we're moving. Yes.
I want to ask you another question. That Nigeria is big markets. I've been to Ghana in Accra, and I see that their political, the culture is different. When you have a relationship with a woman in Accra, it's possible that she's going to earn your child forever. You might not be able to take the child out of Accra. But I've also been to Sierra Leone, and I saw a lot of things in Freetown. You are in Nigeria. Is there a hope for extension to countries like Ghana, Sierra Leone, Kenya, and other African countries?
Africa, we didn't say Nigeria.
Okay, good.
Africa is the vision.
Good.
God gave Africa the vision. How long it's going to take for us to attain that, we don't know.
To cover
where we need to cover. Because Teen Dating Violence Initiative and awareness, honestly, can be distributed across Africa. to sensitize, to educate, to empower our youth.
So you could get partnership from any part of Africa.
Exactly. To bring kids, young girls out of female genital mutilation.
Good.
It's female genital mutilation. Early marriages. Part of it.
That is a very familiar challenge in Northern Africa.
In Northern Africa, exactly.
Northern Nigeria.
So teen dating violence, those are the demographic of kids that are affected. So our program will help with that. So so the distribution is far and wide. But God has the strategy and he's rolling it out. In good time, we trust him for that.
Do you have any role model that influences you, either male or female? Who is that?
Wow, role models. Role models are very hard to take because, one thing with role models, I love people. I see a lot of people that I see and I absolutely love them. And one of the most cliche ones is Oprah.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, because,
Oprah Winfrey. That's a very fantastic female leader.
Yeah,
Across the globe. She's seen it all.
Yeah, exactly.
She has a very terrible background. She was raped at a young age. And she used it as a vehicle of healing for the world.
Exactly.
She was not demoralized.
What better story to tell than that story, right? And she's one of the world's billionaires of today, doing great work, impacting lives.
Just from impacting lives,
exactly,
recreating emotions,
she came
building
from
confidences.
She came from the most unusual backgrounds. When you talk about poverty, talk about disadvantages, talk about abuse and all of the things that could have gone wrong in the life of a person did. And she was in the U.S. So people will think, I have to be in the U.S. for things to work out. She was there. And all those things happened to her. But she rose out of it. So anybody, even here in Nigeria, no matter how horrible this society is, I still believe that our country has a lot of hope. This is our country. It's our home.
Our home.
It's our home.
Our own land.
If we speak ill of the land, the Bible says that they that bless Jerusalem will reap the rewards of it. If we continue to curse our land and curse our leaders, yes, they are not doing the right things. Yes, everything is what it is. But what are we speaking into existence? We have spoken so much horrible things into existence for so long, and we're seeing it manifest, and we're wondering why it's manifesting. Can we start speaking differently of Nigeria? Can we start seeing Nigeria as a blessed nation? Can we start seeing the possibility that can exist because we believe that this nation will be good to us? When I was coming to Africa, people say, what is wrong with you? Everybody's jackpine and you are jackpada.
Of course.
I said, look. That's when I learned the phrase. I didn't know.
Jackpada.
He said, everybody's jackpine and you are jackpada. I said, what do you see?
They're not seeing what you are saying.
They're not seeing what I'm saying.
Oh,
I said, what do you see? When Abraham, the father of nations, the one that we accolade our blessings to, when God asked, what do you see? He said, I see the sand on the seashore. I see the sand on the seashore. God said, okay, your children will be more than the sand on the seashore. What do you see? What I see for Africa. Africa is on the rise. What I see for Nigeria, restoration.
Wonderful.
And it won't happen because we say it will happen. It will happen because we get in there, we do the work. We come home, we do the work. We invest our resources, we do the work. We bring our talents, our everything, accolades, our credentials. We do the work. What do you see?
Get the work done.
We get the work done. We tell one story at a time. We do the work. That is the work needs to be done. Faith without works is dead. What do you see?
They can't see what you are saying.
You see it and then you step out and do the work. My team and I, every month we get together, we plan, okay, this is what we're envisioning for this month. This is what we're trying to do this month. We have to see it first. And then we start putting things in place and we start rolling it out.
Let's talk about the fundraising goal before we close the interview.
Yes, sir.
Honey Drops Foundation, we need a certain amount for Honey Drop Foundation Youth Conference in Lagos. Yeah, then you have Honey Drop Foundation Youth Conference, Grand Prairie, then the Pigeon Productions and scholarships and all that, the STEM Summer Youth Camp for activities and food for 75 students and all that. So how do you achieve all this? Say over the years, Honey Drop Foundation has spent over $50,000 on local and national projects. Honey Drops Foundation was 80% self-funded by the founder and 20% were donation from community friends and donors organizations. This amount has increased over the years. So you look at the fundraising goals, and I want to ask you that again. Do you have interest for partnership? I mean, there are a lot of other bigger foundations like Dangote Foundation.
Yes.
Like even some billionaires like the Macadonas of this world. I think they have foundations on the ground, and Richard Sokolija Foundation, a lot of great foundations, even beyond Nigeria. So
of course,
how do you achieve all this for fundraising? Because you need the money to organize your projects, your awareness campaign and all that.
Yes, we know, there's a lot of foundations and they already have their mission. There are a lot of organizations, individuals out there who are looking to support different causes and things like that. One of the things that we know is our work is important.
Okay.
But every work is important. So we're not going to say we're the most important nonprofit or NGO out here doing God's work. But if you see that what we do touches something in your heart, your organization's mission and vision, to support us, our goal is to raise over 100 million naira for very, very important work. Part of it is capacity building, because in order for us to be able to cover and reach the areas we need to reach, we need to build capacity first. And then next thing is for us to continue to fund the programs that we are already funding, to create resources. Every time we go into the schools, we provide palliatives for them.
Yeah.
Because, there's no point coming to educate people and trying to sensitize their spirit if their body is hungry. It's not going to make sense. So we're very aware of those things. So we try to feed the body, the soul, the spirit. That's who we're called to do and what we're called to do. So we do all of that. And that's very important for us to be able to join hands with any organization that sees us as a laudable cause for them to support. We don't take it for granted ever. In the U.S., we offer tax-deductible benefits to all our donors. Wonderful. Anybody that donates, the government gives them tax deduction that they can take advantage of. In Nigeria, I don't know what kind of benefits are available in that area, but one thing I know is the reward will always be seen in the lives that we change and in everything that we do. We are an open, honest, transparent organization. You're always going to be able to come in and see and verify the use of funds and everything we're trying to do. In fact, I know we said we're going to a school, but we have a surprise. We're actually setting up our very first site in Ibadan.
Wonderful.
And we have already acquired the property. Wonderful. We'll commission it next week.
Wow. Wonderful.
Yes, because we want to have training sites.
Good, yeah.
Yes. So we've it's like
yeah.
So you can, sorry, excuse my Yoruba, even though I'm the national youth leader for Egbeomo Yoruba in North America. Yes. Yeah, I serve my community in different levels. But we've carried the burden. We've taken it. We've taken full ownership, with our full chest.
Yeah.
We've put everything, we're fully invested. So that site is going to be built out as a training center in Ibadan.
Wonderful.
So anytime we have a program, we'll have a place that they will see that Honey Drops Foundation can use to do our training programs.
Like a boot camp?
Yes, we can do so much from out of there. And we can also use it as a place for distributing palliatives to our community.
Vulnerable young people.
Yes, the people that can come. So that we make it more effective. Because, capacity building is, we can't go everywhere. But if we have something to do, we can always invite maybe like the schools that we want to invite their principals to meet us and come and pick up what we have for them. So that way it's easier. And of course, we're looking to have sites in different locations. So Ibadan is our first site we've invested in. So part of those funds.
I think Ibadan is very lucky. Ibadan is very lucky, and it's a very fantastic city.
I told my dad was like, yes, Ibadan is, even though we're Lagosians. He said, Ibadan is good. Ibadan is Oyo is the capital of Yoruba. So I was like,
It's very right. Can you tell us a bit about how they've also imparted in your life, your dad, your mom? I mean, these are the people that we need to pay a very huge and positive tribute to, and I appreciate their their sense of leadership, their sense of direction and all that.
Yes.
But how would you say they've influenced your life?
So my dad is Folusha Gabriel Jinadu. My mom is Koforala Olushola Jinadu. You know, both my parents, I have praying parents.
Wonderful.
Oh my God, I have praying parents. And one thing I can tell you is,
thank them so much.
I have praying parents that love and trust God so much. So one of the things that I love about my parents is they instilled values in us. My dad will always tell us that, look, always be content with what you have.
Contentment.
That's contentment. I'm telling you. I know he used to say it a long time growing up, and I'm like, what's wrong with this man? What's he always saying? But growing up now, you know, I understand. Because there is no amount of money that a person can have. If you don't have contentment, you're always going to be seeking out more.
I know.
You will not be satisfied with...
It becomes avarice, greed.
Exactly. And then you will never be able to see beyond yourself to help other people. Because you feel like, I'm not content. I don't have enough. I need to gather. No. But people, for me doing this work, I don't think I'm wealthy, but I'm wealthy because I'm able to touch a lot of lives. I'm wealthy because God has graced me with every good gift. It's not just money. I have amazing family friends. My children are healthy. I have the things that money cannot buy. And I'm grateful. And that is because my parents instilled those values in us. Prayer is one thing. Oh my God, my mom.
That's a good one.
Praying for us. But another thing is they gave us a strong identity.
That's good.
A lot of parents need to do that. They gave us a strong identity in who we are. Like, I am a Jinadu. I am proud of it. I cannot be anything less than an extraordinary human being. That name alone is like, I'm a Jinadu.
Inspiration.
Yeah.
Inspires you.
I'm my father's daughter. I cannot let him down. I cannot disappoint him.
That's good.
And I cannot disappoint God.
God in his life.
Yes, I cannot disappoint God. So that's one of the things, those values. That's why I say education starts from the home.
Education starts from the home. The first school.
Yeah, I can't go far. Even when I was in Unilag, they were like, oh, you know, when I was in the hostel and people, my mom will come and see me. She will come in early in the morning. We're just waking up. I was like, oh, Oyinka, your mom, you know, people, they know Oyinka and her mother. You know, my parents were very present. And I know a lot of parents might not have the good fortune to do this. But as much as you can manage, be very present in the lives of your children. Be very present. So that's one thing that my parents gave us. They gave us that godly heritage foundation. A godly heritage, very important. And then they gave us that strong identity in self. So there's no way I'll go now. Somebody tell me something else and say you're not good enough. How? I'm a Jinadu. Do you know that name? You know, like, it's not even pride. I'm just like, I just know who I am. Yeah. You can't tell me otherwise. So that's very important.
I think every parent should learn how to give their children a strong identity.
Yes.
And they should stamp it, and they should, you know, accredit it. On the last note, we would like to keep going on, but I think after a Ibadan expedition, we still have another beautiful chance before you go back to America.
Yes, sir.
To sit down and talk about more things about life. What advice are you going to give to young people? You see, the youth, the leaders of tomorrow. But a lot of time you see that the old ones are still there. They don't want to leave. They sit for the young people. But what advice are you going to give to young people in Nigeria, in Africa? People that want to grow, to become successful in their endeavors. They want to become successful politicians, successful sports stars, music stars, and successful preachers and all that. But I'm going to tell them as a mother, as a motivator, as a leader, as a life coach.
Thank you. So I'm going to use the life of Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego as just the template for this, and I'm going to be very quick about it. Okay. Daniel and his friends, being Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, were found to be excellent, 10 times better than their peers. They were living in the land of Babylon as slaves, but the spirit of excellence on them allowed them to be identified as presidents. You know, I don't know how the structure, you know, they had the monarch, the Persian king, but he had presidents that he appointed to different territories.
Yeah.
Daniel served under 3 kings. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego served alongside him as well. There is no way a slave will be given that kind of priority except that person has proven themselves. Become so excellent in everything that you do that you become undisputably, unavoidably identifiable for your skills.
That's interesting.
Undisputably, that means even if they want to chop and dice it and say, he's a son of nobody, she's a daughter of nobody, but she has what we need. Even if they want to say, he's young, he's not seasoned, he's not experienced, she's young, she's not seasoned, but she has what we need. That is what the spirit of excellence affords you. And it comes from God. We need to begin to understand the order of things as youth. Going back to the right order of things is important. You cannot drive a Bentley at 20-something because you see someone else doing it. There is an order. There is a time for acquisition of wealth. Things grow over time. If you want to microwave it and get it out, then you have to go and be doing Yahoo, money laundering, money ritual, all these things. That's the wrong order of things. It never ends well. And it's not going to bode for a better Nigeria.
Yep.
So while we'll say those people are there, let's leave them. How about we focus on building ourselves up first?
Yes.
Let's focus on becoming better, becoming good, becoming great, good to great, becoming excellent. Let's focus our focus on becoming more before we start making demands. Protesting, making demands when you have nothing to offer, I'm sorry, that is the wrong order of things. I know that we're suffering. The nation is in whatever chaos.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. How many youths are employable today?
How many youth are employed?
How many youths are employable today?
Oh, God.
That they can trust you.
With responsibility.
With responsibility. How many youths have the skill set to do the things that are necessary, to be innovative, to make decisions, to think critically, to solve problems? How many youth? Come on now. We have to go back to the right order of things.
That's a very big question.
Come on now, let's ask ourselves, how many of us are able to actually carry the burden of this country? If they say, oh yeah, take, carry. Can you carry it? Can you solve the problems? Can you make decisions that will move this nation forward? Can you change the trajectory of Nigeria? How many people? So before we start crying foul, let's focus on our focus. Start from the basics. Return to the right order of things. Go back to God. Become more. Learn. Study to show yourself approved. A right man. A man rightly dividing the word of truth. That's what the Bible says. Look, me, I don't have any other frame of reference than the Bible. So if you don't understand, it's okay. But here's the thing. The word of God is the truth. It doesn't need me, you, anybody to validate it. It's the enduring truth for ages. So that's the reference that I pull from. So let's go back to the basics. Let's get back to the right order of things. Let's become more. Let's become good, then great. Excellence is the standard. Let's make excellence a standard. Let's stop being mediocre and thinking it's okay. Let's stop doing things ordinary and thinking it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. Let's stop and assume that this Nigeria is going to be better and we just want to kick people out of office and take their place. So when you get there, what is going to be your function? You go and loot the treasury now because you have nothing to offer. The reason our politicians are looting is because they don't have the expertise to create solutions. So the only thing they can go there to do is steal.
Grab and keep.
And that is it. And they grab and keep and someone else takes it from them. And this nation is... I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
We're not going to get political, but please, good to great. Excellence is the standard. If everybody makes that their watchword, you see our youth will get better. Ideas will start to flow.
Yeah.
Lack of joblessness will no longer be an issue because innovation will take over.
Yeah.
So if Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, Daniel and his friends they got priority in a land where they were slaves.
Why? Foreign land.
In a foreign land where they were slaves. Why? Because they were undeniable. They were indisputable. Excellence. That's what they brought to the table. So even though they said, Daniel's God, this Daniel's God is a foreign God, but they could not but need Daniel. Because even with his foreign God, they did not agree with. They needed him. The king needed him. So be that person that the king will need, and all men will find you.
Well, it is a very wonderful, lovely one. When you sit down with a product of a high intellectual school of thought like Dr. OYINKANSOLA JINADU, you are bound to learn and to have more intellectual intellectual provision for a better society. We want to appreciate you for your humility.
Thank you, sir.
We want to thank you for all the efforts at Honey Drop Foundation Africa, and I want to thank you for the courage to take part of the responsibility of government and to make it yours to salvage our young people out of their emotional doldrum and to create an Eldorado for them. We want to believe that you are going places, and this is just the beginning. 9 years, by next year, you're going to be a decade, and we are very appreciative of your good efforts across the world, starting from America down to Africa, and especially in West Africa, where we all emanated from. I want to thank you so much, man.
Thank you, sir.
And we pray that there's going to be another time for us to speak with you.
Yes, sir.
To talk about issues that relate with young people, issues that relate with vision, and issues that relate with lifestyle. And the next time I'm going to talk to you, we're going to talk about the church violence too, because there's violence in the church too.
Yes, sir.
And I know you'll be able to help us out there. Yes, we'll be speaking with Dr. OYINKANSOLA JINADU, a multi-potentialite life coach, an entrepreneur, a life coach, an author, a leader of thought, and the founder of Honey Drop Foundation Global and Honey Drop Foundation Africa. You want to reach out to her, you want to find out some of the projects, some of the initiatives of the organization, you can reach out through the email that is scrolling on the screen, or you can make a call to the phone numbers. I'm very sure our secretaries will pick, and if the information is very urgent and of important nature, it will get to her and she will get back to you. The purpose of the organization is to take out from the doldrum young people, especially teenagers, young girls, young boys, bring them back to normalcy and make them a better citizen of the world and of the society at large. Till the next time that will be opportune, that will be pleased to sit with Dr. OYINKANSOLA JINADU, we want to appeal to you, please be a good citizen, be an ambassador of goodwill, be courageous, find something, do something, make the world a better place. God bless you, and goodbye. Ẹ jẹ́ ká mo fẹ́ kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ báwọn èèyàn sọ̀rọ̀ ní Yorùbá ní èdè abínibí wa tí ẹ fẹ́ kí àwọn ọmọ wa kéèké kán mọ̀, àwọn ọmọ ọ̀dọ́mọdé obìnrin wa kán mọ̀ nípa ètò ìjàngbara fúnra wọn láti bọ́ látinú ìgbèkùn tí àwọn ènìyàn fi wọ́n sí, bóyá nípa ìwà búburú láti ọwọ́ àwọn olùkọ́, látọwọ́ àwọn alábàágbé àtàwọn aládùúgbò. Báwo ló ṣe lè ríra wọn padà kán di àtúnbí, kí ni wọ́n lè dùn ìyẹn nínú ẹgbẹ́ Honey Drop, nínú NGO Honey Drop? Kí làwọn nǹkan tí wọ́n ní fáwọn ọmọdébìnrin wọ̀nyí?
Ẹ ṣé gan ni olóòtú. Ilé-iṣẹ́ Honey Drops Foundation a wá láti jẹ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ohùn Ọlọ́run nínú ayé àwọn ènìyàn, láti tú wọn sílẹ̀ nínú ìgbèkùn, kó kò dẹ̀ ń ṣe ìgbèkùn tó ṣe àjòjì sí wa ju àwọn ìta tí ń rí káàkiri ìgbèkùn tá máa ń rí nínú ẹbí tí àwọn èèyàn tó máa ń fi ipá bá èèyàn lájọṣepọ̀ tí àwọn ọmọ máa bára wọn sọ̀rọ̀ òdì tí ò yẹ kó dẹ̀ rí bẹ́ẹ̀ tó máa bára wọn jà àwọn ọmọdé tó yẹ kó máa bá wọn máa ṣọ̀rẹ́ tó ń dàgbà sókè tó máa bára wọn kù sínú ó máa wà nínú wọn wọ́n máa bára wọn jà wọ́n máa dìtẹ̀ mọ́ra wọn láti ọmọ kékeré gbogbo nǹkan tó dẹ̀ ń ṣe yìí náà àwọn náà wọ́n dáyé bá ní ṣùgbọ́n àwa wá láti fi òpin sí irú àwọn ìwà burúkú bẹ́ẹ̀ àwọn ìwà ìbàjẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ nípa ọ̀nà ẹ̀kọ́ ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tá máa ń ṣe fún wọn láti àkọ́kọ́ náà láti yí ọkàn wọn padà sí ọ̀dọ̀ Ọlọ́run tá bá ti yí ọkàn wọn padà sí ọ̀dọ̀ Ọlọ́run àwa máa kọ́ wọn ní ẹ̀kọ́ tí wọ́n máa fi dàgbà sókè nínú ẹ̀mí àti ara láti jẹ́ èèyàn tí Ọlọ́run ṣe wọ́n ní ayé yìí Ọlọ́run dá wa dáradára ṣùgbọ́n ìgbà tá wá sínú ayé Sátánì bà ohun gbogbo jẹ́ ṣùgbọ́n lára iṣẹ́ tí Ọlọ́run dá sílẹ̀ ní Honey Drops Foundation láti yí àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ padà láti yí ọkàn àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ padà sí ọ̀dọ̀ wọn láti lè rí wípé wọ́n ṣe rere nínú ayé gbogbo iṣẹ́ rere tí Ọlọ́run fi sí ẹnì kọ̀ọ̀kan nú wa lọ́wọ́ láti ṣe nínú ayé láìsí pé a padà sọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run kò sí bá ṣe lè ṣe àwọn iṣẹ́ rere náà nítorí náà ni àwa ṣe máa ń dá àwọn ọmọ àwọn ọ̀dọ́ wa a máa dá wọn lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ a máa kọ́ wọn ní ẹ̀kọ́ a máa fún wọn ní àwọn nǹkan tí wọ́n nílò oúnjẹ àwọn nǹkan tó need fún ilé ẹ̀kọ́ tí wọ́n ń lọ a máa fún wọn ní àwọn nǹkan díẹ̀díẹ̀ láti fi wú wọn lórí láti fi mọ̀ wípé ilé ayé yìí fún wọn ni láti ṣe rere kò ń ṣe láti gbèrò nínú iṣẹ́ búburú ṣùgbọ́n láti gbèrò nínú iṣẹ́ rere tí Ọlọ́run dá ẹnì kọ̀ọ̀kan nù wá fún.
Ǹjẹ́ ní ọ̀rọ̀ fáwọn òbí lákòótán kí ni ẹ fẹ́ káwọn òbí ṣe nínú ayé àwọn ọmọ nítorí pé a mọ̀ pé àwọn òbí ni olùkọ́ àkọ́kọ́ táwọn ọmọdé máa ń mọ̀ láti kékeré nígbà tó máa rákòrò tó máa dàgbà kí lẹ fẹ́ káwọn òbí ṣe.
Òótọ́ lẹ sọ lóòtú àwọn òbí ní iṣẹ́ tó máa ṣe iṣẹ́ òbí ò dẹ̀ kí ń parí àwa òbí a lè fi àwọn ọmọ wa sílẹ̀ pé kí àwọn olùkọ́ nílé ìwé kó máa bá wa kọ́ wọn àbáwọn tá à ń fi wọ́n ṣọ́ àwọn nání àwọn driver àwọn oríṣiríṣi àwọn èèyàn tí àwọn fi tá fi ń ṣọ́ àwọn ọmọ wa àwọn òbí gangan ló yẹ ká wà ní ipò ká gbé ẹrù náà fúnra wa ìrànlọ́wọ́ máa wá láti oríṣiríṣi ọ̀nà ṣùgbọ́n gẹ́gẹ́ bí òbí àwa gangan ni Ọlọ́run fún ní iṣẹ́ yẹn láti ṣe láti tọ́ àwọn ọmọ wa sọ́nà Bíbélì ní pé tọ́ ọmọ rẹ kó lè fún ẹ ní ìsinmi orílẹ̀-èdè wa ò ní ìsinmi torí pé a tọ́ àwọn ọmọ wa orílẹ̀-èdè wa ò ní ìsinmi torí pé àwọn ọmọ wa ò kọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ tó yege ní ọ̀nà tí Ọlọ́run láti lè jẹ́ kó jẹ́ bí Ọlọ́run ṣe fẹ́ kó jẹ́ nítorí náà àwọn òbí a gbọ́dọ̀ ní ìrònúpìwàdà gbogbo wa ni ọ̀rọ̀ ìbáwí pẹ̀lú èmi pàápàá torí pé èmi náà ní àwọn ọmọ tèmi iṣẹ́ tí Ọlọ́run dẹ̀ fún wa láti ṣe ní àkọ́kọ́ lórí àwọn ọmọ tọ́lọ́run fún wa yẹn ni iṣẹ́ okòwò iṣẹ́ ajé tá à ń ṣe láti rí jẹ láti rí mu ó ṣe pàtàkì ní tòótọ́ ṣùgbọ́n kò pàtàkì jùlọ ju ayé àwọn ọmọ wa lọ torí pé tí àwọn ọmọ yẹn bá ti sọnù kò sí nǹkan kan tá fẹ́ fi rà padà kò sí nǹkan tá máa fi ṣe pàṣípàrọ̀ fún wọn mọ́ ìgbà tá bá ti sọ wọ́n nù sínú ayé so ó dáa ká tètè kọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ tó yege láti jẹ́ òbí tó máa dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí òbí ní ayé àwọn ọmọ wa Ọlọ́run á dẹ̀ ràn gbogbo wa lọ́wọ́.
Àmín. Ẹ ṣeun àwọn ọmọ wa ojú òní tìyìn lágbára Ọlọ́run máa fún yín ní okun Ọlọ́run máa fún yín ní ọgbọ́n láti máa tún gbé ìgbésẹ̀ tó ju gbogbo ilé lọ nípa ẹsẹ̀ iléeṣẹ́ Honey Drop Foundation Africa tí ó kárí gbogbo ayé ẹ̀yin náà ní a ní ìkáyé iye ò ní tán lágbára Ọlọ́run.
Àmín àmín àmín
God bless you. God bless you. Yeah.